Now, the film you're going to see is the creation of three artists. Band leader Paul Whiteman, who was the most popular band leader of the entire 1920s. I mean, we're talking Beatles level compared to everybody else. Enormously popular. Studio chief of Universal, Carl Laemmle Jr. He became studio chief at the age of 21, and he wanted to make his mark, and he did with All Quiet on the Western Front in this film. And director John Murray Anderson. And I'll share a little background on John Murray Anderson. John Murray Anderson was a New York stage director of revues, which are shows with musical numbers, comedy, but no plot. And he started with the Greenwich Village Follies, and his shows in the 1920s were the equal of the Ziegfeld Follies. And he also worked with his production designer, Herman Rasa, on Broadway shows like the 1929 John Murray Anderson's Almanac, which had many of the elements that found their way into King of Jazz the next year. In 1925, Anderson was recruited by Paramount to produce stage shows that would be part of the program in Publix theaters. And in 2 years, he directed 50 of these 30-minute little mini stage shows. So if you remember Footlight Parade, the James Cagney character, he puts on these prologues, live prologues in the movie theaters. That's what John Murray Anderson did for 2 years. And that's where he met Paul Whiteman, and he first worked with many of the vaudeville acts that appear in King of Jazz. And so 2 of the 3 big numbers in King of Jazz originated in these shows for Publix theaters. He staged early versions of the Rhapsody in Blue and Melting Pot for Publix and used other elements like a giant piano in some of the other prologues. And he had also used staged the Bridal Veil number on Broadway as early as 1920. So while King of Jazz captures Paul Whiteman at the peak of his career, it also provides a glimpse of what a Publix stage prologue and a Broadway review would look like as staged by one of the great Broadway directors of the 1920s. So now we're going to see a fantastic restoration of the 1930 King of Jazz.